Big cap, Don Marino, heavy sombrero. He lack knowledge, I bet he a scarecrow. Something deadly at Edo. If it ring, get low, rider, and he go
But we was never friends. Show up to Harlem looking for your crib. You better let me in. Masked up, gloves on. I work in medicine. Show up to deluxe apartment in disguise like the Jeffersons.
Y'all to get shot with the cannon. I gotta do you, send a shot into you. This is Black Love, Brown Pride. Shaka Zulu meets Montezuma. It wouldn't be.
Hello. Welcome back to the Speaking Our Language show, and we are here for the second part of Champion of the Year. This time, I am going to be talking about 2014 to 2016, and this time is going to be top 10s, like I mentioned before in the other video. 2010 to 2013 was top 5 just because the workload wasn't as heavy. 2014 is kind of where it ramped up, so we're going to do a top 10 for those 3 years. We're going to start off the 10th spot with none other than DNA. And real quick, I'm going to kind of run through these a little bit quicker than I did last time because it was only 5 people. This time it's 10. So I'll try to be detailed, but very quick. At number 10, I have DNA. DNA had a really good year this year. To start off the year, he had Calico, which was a really good battle. I want to say it was like January 4th, so right at the top of the year, he had Calico, which was a really good performance for him. He also had Arcane, and this is where he really starts to pick it up. He had Press Mafia and Ill Will very close. He had Press Mafia on the Gnome 4 warm-up, and then he obviously had Ill Will on Gnome 4. Started the PG Killer moniker and just picked up from there. So those two together really add to the impact factor and also add to the moments that he would go on to have. Ill Will, obviously, the first round, impeccable first round, one of the best first rounds in known history, and one of the best moments. Get smacked the F out of here. Amazing. That speaks for itself. And he has a lot of other good work against Sketch the Menace, Kruger. He has a one-rounder with Roan where he, in the rematch, I think the thing that keeps him from being even higher on the list is the Tay-Rock battle that he had for Summer Madness 4. A dominant win for Tay-Rock, so that's why I have him at number 10.
Seeing him homeless, you tried to choke against the rock. Tonight you need to be focused. Our body rock and roll the same day. Either opponent, LeBron James, he gonna cramp in the heat of the moment.
At number 9, I have none other than Averb. Back-to-back years of Averb making the list. This time, Averb resume includes Swave Seva, Caustic, Goods, Ilmac, Danny Myers, John, Big K, Daylight. A really good schedule. Swave Seva was kind of a grudge match, right? So he handled business on Guerrilla Warfare with that battle. Goods was another high-profile situation. A really good battle, one of the best battles on Gnome 4. Obviously, Averb had his showtime, one of his best showtimes of all time. Iron Low, Like I'm Anemic, crazy. Danny Myers was another good battle in Duel of the Desert. Another great showtime. The Church is Chicken, crazy. John on SM, another good look. I think what keeps him from being higher is the Big K performance, right? I thought he was okay, but I thought Big K kind of clearly took that battle. Daylight performance was solid, but I think he could have did better in that one too. He choked in the Caustic battle, so that hurts him a bit. But overall, I do think that he had a really good schedule, right? I think he faced some really big names. And then him being on both Gnome and SM and having a win on both of those events are a really huge deal. So I want to give him credit for that. But overall, really solid year for Averb.
Okay, let's get into that verb shit, that wordsmith, this gift that I was cursed with, that flip a bird shit, ride up, reverse it, shirts get rang out, that's a purchase. You a nigga greasy for that chicken, that's churches, long range shooter.
At number 8, I have Danny Myers. Welcome to the list, Danny. This was around the time, I got to give a little bit of context here. Shout out to Jay Black. This was around the time where there was a little bit of discrepancy between Danny's rankings just because of the workload that he's been giving. It was like 2014 and 2015 where like he really had grievances with not being in that conversation, and I can kind of understand why, because if you look at the workload for Danny Shear this year, he battled in the UFF season 2 situation. He also battled Snow, KG the Poet, Dre Vicious, Big K, Averb, Unique Bars, JC, Cortez, Heartless. The thing about this is that I do think that while he does have a lot of workload, a decent workload, against the big names, like I have him beating Averb, right? But outside of that, and I think I have him edging Cortez too, but outside of that, I had Big K edging him, I had JC edging him, and then you just kind of go back to like the mid to low level tier battles. And that's no slight to him because I appreciate the war mentality, but I do think that if he was to trim down just the names that are not of that caliber that he should be facing, then he probably would be higher. But I do want to credit him for having really good performances across all of his battles. I want to say he has close to 10 or more, 10 to 15. So he did a lot of good work this year. Then the moments he was able to make against Averb, crazy. The moments that he was able to create against Big K, I thought that was a really good battle, even though I had Big K edging it. Really good look for him, being a part of UFF Season 2. So he was pretty active, but I don't think that this was one of his better years of him being active. I think you can name a few other years better than this one. But even with this not being one of his best years, I still think that he makes this list comfortably at number 8.
I brought a gun. Creep on him. Y'all gonna see Carter run. Poppy White fumbling with his keys trying to get his car to run. 357s. Y'all about to see the steel flare. Big rounds rotate from both arms like a wheelchair. You still there? Bye.
At number 7, I have Pat Stay. I mean, this speaks for itself. I mean, Pat Stay, you know what I'm saying, got the chain this year, last year, defended it this year against Disaster in a really, really good defense. I want to say that was on Blackout, right? Then he also battled Ronan in the compliment battle. I know a lot of people, it can be 50-50 with the compliment battle, but I do think there's a lot of impact behind that. And then I also think the Daylight battle in another defense, for better or for worse, there's impact behind that. And I think that's more of a positive for Pat Stay than it is a negative, even though we kind of know what Daylight would end up doing in that battle. But I think with a 3-battle schedule, you have Diz, you have Daylight, you have Rome. Those are high quality opponents that you can have. And I just think that he comfortably sits there at number 7. And I will say, from 5 and 7, between 5 and 7, these spots can be interchanged. Like I went back and forth on who should be in what spot, but this is kind of how I finalized it. So there is wiggle room between the 5 and 7. If you have another person over Pat Stay, or if you have Pat Stay lower, I can understand that. Just because I think that practically 4 through 8 is kind of interchangeable to a degree. But I have Pat Stay at 7.
Maybe I'm crazy, maybe it's how I cope with it. But what's weird is I cried till the tears smeared my rhymes for him when I wrote this shit. But whatever you do, never confuse emotional with weak. I slit your throat with tears rolling down my cheek.
At number 6, I have Ilmac. Welcome to the list, Ilmac. He's another person that has a 3-battle schedule, but the 3 battles that he have were really, really top notch. Him versus Real Deal. Really good battle. And I had him winning that one. I thought his 3rd round was really good. I thought he was clicking all cylinders in that battle. Charlie Clips, a clear win over Clips, you know what I'm saying? In one of his best years of his career. I think that holds a lot of weight, Duel in the Desert. And then it went over Averb. And Averb had another great showtime. And I think Ilmac just outlasted him in that battle too. So a win over Verb, win over Clips, and a win over Real Deal. And these are high quality opponents. Hey, if you're going to do 3 battles or 2 battles a year, if they're all top notch and you have grade A performances, I can't say anything about it. So I have Ilmac at number 6.
You know how I know this guy's eager and I'm in his head like a fucking mind reader? Because now he's bitching out over here talking to Marathon trying to play timekeeper. You know what?
At number 5, I kind of alluded to this earlier, right? If you're going to have like 2 to 3 battles, you have to be top notch and you have to like show out, right? At number 5, I have Tay-Rock. And he only has 2 battles, right? So I kind of struggle with where to put him, but I do think these 2 battles are extremely impactful. First battle, Charlie Clips. mega build up going into this battle, right? The big rematch, the best rematch of all time, right? Supposed to be on the Gnome 4 card in Irving Plaza, but they end up moving it into a small room, which probably benefits the battle in a great fashion. I thought Tay-Rock had an amazing performance, a masterclass performance against Charlie Eclipse, and I thought Charlie Eclipse was on his A game in that battle too. Classic battle. It can go either way, honestly. I just think that that's a plus for him. You know what I'm saying? He got the monkey off his back in regards to being the rematch, kind of ascending the top tier, and then you go from that pseudo known performance to a dominant win on SM against DNA, a guy that was killing it, you know what I'm saying, this year. I think those two performances easily propels him to the top 5, and it kind of helps him in his trajectory going into 2015.
This rematch, unnecessary. Who's the legend? Beating me is what made you legendary. Charlie get hit with the first and then the secondary. Then DNA get the business like it's hereditary.
At number 4, now this guy was having a really good year against top names, and I think that his resume was a little bit elongated. I have Big K at number 4. Big K's year included the Saurus, Danny Myers, Big Cannon, Aver, B Magic, Arsenal, Conceited, star-studded resume. And then when I look at the battles, I had him beating the Saurus, I had him edging against Danny Myers, I had him beating Averb, I had him edging B Magic, I believe, and then I had him beating Arsenal clearly, and then I had him beating Conceited. So, and then also him and Big Cannon, it's debatable. A lot of people in the time period gave Big Cannon the battle. It's because the third round, Big Cannon was like had a straight up approach with a bar for bar aspect, and then pretty much Big K spent the whole time cracking or joking on Big Cannon about his weight or whatever. So it's jokes can be acquired taste, or like can be a 50-50 thing. So I can understand why people have Big Cannon winning, but I do think there was a good performance from both of them. But all in all, I don't really see any blemishes on the year, right? A win over the Saurus, a win over Danny, a win over Averb, a win over Arsenal, a win over Conceited. Like just saying that alone is kind of crazy. Then we just look at the material that he was bringing, the consistency he had. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, a lot of his battles were short. I want to say the B Magic battle was less than 20 minutes. Arsenal was less than 20 minutes. There's a couple battles that were like pretty quick, you know, because Big K is really about making sure that like he raps for the time that he's contracted for. But even still, he was pretty consistent. He had a lot of good material, and I think that, you know, this year kind of goes unnoticed for Big K. So I have him at number 4.
They was tripping on my block, so I copped a cig. Fuck a job in the real world. I was robbing big. Get a jackass unplugged. I let this shit ring your head spin. I keep one in the head. The clip 16 and pregnant. True life. What's up?
At number 3, I have B Magic. B Magic, right? This is like, he killed it last year. He had a really good year this year. Maybe a step down from last year, obviously, but I still think it's a really good year. It's kind of one of the last great B Magic years that you'll get. B Magic's year consisted of Rum Nitty, right? Really good battle. JC, another good battle. Big T, we'll get to that. Sharon, Big K, Conceited, and Daylight. Daylight was at the top of the year, right? And I thought that he beat Daylight kind of by default to a degree. Daylight kind of took this matrix approach, which was cool. I think the concept was nice, but in terms of attacking opponent and the bar for bar standpoint, I just thought B Magic won that battle clearly. You also have the JC battle and Guerrilla Warfare. Thought it was a really good battle. He actually, kind of jumped out of his jumped out of the bar box for a little bit and started to joke a little bit, add some charisma and comedic value. So that was a good outing for him. I think this is kind of where like this keeps him from being higher, right? So like the Big K battle, like I mentioned, I think I had Big K winning that battle, but it honestly can go either way. And it was one of those short battles, like I mentioned before, like it was like less than 20 minutes. It was a really short battle, so that can go either way. But then you go into the Big T battle where he chokes, the Rum Nitty battle where he chokes. I think that hurts him a little bit. I had him edging Big T even with the choke. He choked in the second. The third was a hard stumble. I didn't really count that as a choke. I counted more as a hard stumble, so I thought he took the third. But still not a good look in terms of like choking on a big stage. And then the Rum Nitty battle, right? I edged him in the Rum Nitty battle when he choked in one of those rounds too. But all in all, and then also the Sharon performance, he had a really solid performance against Sharon too on UW. But all in all, he had a really good year. He could have had a flawless year if it wasn't for the chokes against Big T and against Rum Nitty. But I think it was a really good year. Then you cap off your year with Conceited on Summer Madness, one of the best Summer Madness battles of all time, in my opinion, on one of the best Summer Madnesses of all time. So I think he comfortably sits at his spot. I think he had a really good year. This was the last great year of D-Magic. And yeah, I'm going to sit him at number 3.
I say, it's a call with the 40 on my waist. He walk in the parking lot, leaving the party finish shake. Bad boys too. You know when Marcus daughter finna date, I meet Reggie at the door and put a 40 in his face.
At number 2, the runner-up. For me, I think this is not necessarily a lost year, but it doesn't get talked about enough. I have Hitman at number 2 as the runner-up. Hitman had a good year. Again, if you're going to do 2 to 3, 3 to 4 battles a year, make sure they're all bangers. And I feel like Hitman did that. Charlie Clips on Guerrilla Warfare, really good battle. I know a lot of people edge Charlie Clips the battle, but I think that you can make a case for Hitman winning that battle. Sue Surf, need I say more? Classic first round. It was debatable in that time period. I have Sue Surf edging the battle, but great battle. I don't think that's a bad look for him. And then O-Red, a dominant win against O-Red on one of the biggest cards of the year on high stakes at the top of the year in O-Red's backyard. You know what I'm saying? So those are 3 really good battles. And then you want to talk about moments. He has a plethora of that in the Surf battle, in the Clips battle, in the O-Red battle. Just amazing all year round. And that would be one of the last times you'll see Hitman battle that many times in a year. He eventually will shift into 1 time a year, maybe even 2. He just did 2 this year, but for the most part, he shifted to the 1 time a year, situation. So I just want to give him credit for this year because Charlie Clips, Sue Surf, and O-Red were really good performances against top tier competition. So I want to give him credit for that.
Pull that beam out, shots go right through his chest, rip his shots go right through his chest, rip his streams out. The doctors pull his streams out, his mama, fuck that holler, fuck that holler.
Now we're at number 1, and I think this is kind of unanimous, even with the slip-ups, even with the mess-ups, even with the lack of consistency from time to time. I still have Charlie Clips at 1. When you talk about impact, when you talk about moments, when you talk about just being the biggest name and one of the best this year, you just have to talk about Charlie Clips this year. Consisted of Conceited, Hitman, Tay-Rock, John, O-Red, Heartless, T-Rex, Ilmac, Sharon, and Marv 1. Let's get the negatives out the way, right? The Sharon battle, not a good look, right? Heartless battle, not a good look. Ilmac kind of threw that battle away too. So those are 3 situations where I feel like he kind of just threw it away. But Conceited battle on Blackout, handle business. Hitman Holla, really good battle, handle business. Tay-Rock, classic battle. John and Dime, solid battle. It was a quiet room if I'm not mistaken. O-Red, handle business in that one on UW. T-Rex, one of the biggest body bags of all time on SM. Like, it's just hard to not have him at number 1. Like, even if you want to account for the negatives, you'd be hard pressed to find people that have more moments, have better impact, have as a high profile, has a win that's just as big as his win against T-Rex on SM, and a dominant one at that too. And then when you throw in a win over Conceited, a edge against Hitman, and a classic battle with Tay-Rock, it's like, what can we debate? You know what I'm saying? So Hitman was very close into shifting into number 1 because without the blemishes, but I feel like a win over Conceited, and then him edging, you know what I'm saying, Clips edging Hitman, and then a classic battle with Tay-Rock, and I low-key have him edging Tay-Rock. It's just hard to debate, you know. So I have Charlie Clips at number 1.
Battle, you give him 2,000. Okay, it's change flipping. He have a big battle, you give him 2,000. That's the same difference. You might as well work for halal. You keep giving niggas the same chick.
I have. Ironically enough, this guy ended off 2014. Now he's at the bottom at 2015. I have Charlie Clips in 2015. This was considered a down year for Charlie Clips, right? He was given opportunities, right? He was given Lux and Hollow back to back. Hollow on Gnome 5, and then Lux on Summer Madness 5, right? When I look at his year holistically, right, I just mentioned those two. But you also have battles against Pass, T-Top. You also have battles against Shoddy Horror, Shotgun Suge. And truthfully, I had him beating T-Top. I had him beating Pass. And Pass was right after Hollow, like literally right after Hollow. Him and Shoddy was a weird battle. And then I had him beating Shotgun Suge. So realistically, he's half and half. He's half and half. And I know, like, you're not supposed to mess around in the biggest battles of your career. Like, he could have did better in the Hollow battle, right? He could have did better in the Lux battle. But when you really think about it, the Lux battle is still one of the biggest battles of the year. And in that time period, a lot of people thought that battle was debatable. I know a lot of people edged Lux because of the third round, but there were people making a case for Clips winning that battle. I personally had Lux winning, but I still have to just throw that in there for context. But when you talk about strength of schedule, it's like not that many people can say they had Lux and Hollow in the same year. And then you throw in Shotgun Suge, who was having a great year that year to close out the year with a win in that regard. Then you throw in a Pass, which was a good performance that he had against Pass. And then you throw in Shoddy Horror, which is another juggernaut. I just think it's hard to keep him off the list, even with those two major blemishes with Hollow and Lux. And I just have to keep it honest. I have him at 10.
They kind of average. They need practice. He spent 4 years in Orlando and learned the harder way he couldn't hack it. Smack brought in a certain PG, and then we all believed in magic. You became lost and jealous. Ain't find out the way to compete. You thought you was...
Filling the pavilion. I put the boot on them like Sicilian civilians. Slit your wife's throat. Burn down the bitch building. So when your princess die, they don't find any prints. William, fill your gun. Look, man.
At number 8, another appearance from this guy. I have Shoddy Horror. Shoddy Horror's year consists of Hitman Holla, the Arsenal rematch, and Charlie Clips. Again, if you're going to do 2 to 3 or 3 to 4, make sure they're bangers. I think even though the Charlie Clips is a weird battle, I still think just having Charlie Clips that year is a huge deal, right? Arsenal in the rematch, a huge rematch at the time. I thought he beat Arsenal. And then Hitman Holla, another weird-ish battle because of the jumping and all that, but I still think that is a mega matchup too, and I feel like those 3 right there warrants him a spot on the list.
If you don't understand that, then you're stupid as shit. That means there was a 100% increase when they added me and removed you from the mix. 3 million. Drake, I can't see him with these views from the 6. That's my second round in. Same stuff.
At number 7, and this is another situation where I feel like 7 to like 5 and 4 is kind of interchangeable depending on what you're arguing. But I have Danny Myers at 7, so 1 spot above I think the previous year. Danny Myers has another situation where the volume is really, really high. Danny Myers' year consists of, let me pull up his resume, his really, really long resume. Okay, so he has battles against Cali Smooth, Real Talk, Diesel, Billy Boondocks, Excel, Danger Zone, T-Rex, Chilla Jones, Copyright, and K Marco. Now, the stuff that keeps him on the list is the Chilla Jones battle, where I had him winning that battle, and it was a really great battle. The T-Rex win, right? I think that keeps him there. I think the battle against Danger Zone on the first Traffic, really good battle, a good performance against Excel. But again, I think it's a situation where maybe a few more big names, he probably would be higher. I know he said that he had some of the best material that year. He was the hardest worker that year, and I can understand that. But at the same time, again, you're pretty much just talking about the Chilla Jones battle, the Danger Zone battle, the T-Rex battle, and Excel. I think the other battles, while he did provide good material, he's the A-side in those battles, and there was no real threat there, in my humble opinion. That's no slight to Billy Boondocks, Cali Smooth, and none of those guys. I just feel like the nucleus of his year this year is just Danger Zone, T-Rex, Chilla Jones, and Excel. But I thought he had a really good year. Really loved his performance against Chilla Jones. Really loved his performance against Danger. Had some of his best material of his career this year. So I will not, knock him for the year that he had. But I just think that the highest he can get right now is anywhere from 7 to 5, and I just have him at 7. So.
Roar God, I give him that 2-jack concussion. It's not the college in Boston, but I'll bring you mass destruction.
At 6, again, another appearance from this guy. He had last year, he had a really good year with only 3, and this year he does the same thing. I have Ilmac. Ilmac's year consists of DNA, Carter Deems, Pat Stay. DNA, dominant win, Carter Deems, and another solid performance. Pat Stay, he wins the chain off of Pat Stay. Need I say more? Like, I think that you win the chain, right? Then you go on, and then Blackout, you have a dominant performance against DNA on your Blackout. And I want to say that was his Blackout debut. And then DNA was having a good year that year. So that was DNA's only real blemish on the year was Ilmac. So I think that holds a lot of weight. I think that's enough to put him at that spot. I think 6 is a really good spot for him. We're winning the chain and then a dominant win on Blackout. There's not much I can say about that.
As he hides, take up more space, displaying dominance in our perception, but it's lies, because I'm an artist like Donatello. He's more like Raphael, though. His only weapon is his size. Tell me.
So that's why I have it number 6 and number 5. This guy had a really, really good year. This is one of his breakout years. Shotgun Suge at number 5. Reason why I have Shotgun Suge at number 5 is because, again, breakout year. He kind of had his resurgence. This year consists of Reaper Rail, Oops, Tech 9, T-Top, The Saga, Big T, Charlie Clips, and Mrs. Black Diamond. The things that keep him on the list or put him at this spot, I want to highlight the T-Top performance. Great performance. Top 3 performance of his career. Shut the building down. The Saga performance was another good performance on Rookies vs. Vets. Big T performance, really good battle. I think it was a really good back and forth. A lot of people edging that battle. Really good battle. Really good 3rd round. The potato on the nose. Crazy. Then you had Charlie Clips to close out the year. I think the thing that keeps him from being higher is that, like, I would have liked for him to have a clear win over Clips. A clear win over Clips probably puts him higher. And then, if I'm being quite honest, I think that the Saga battle is actually a lot closer than what people remember. But I think that if he had got a clear win over Clips and maybe even like another big name before closing out the year, he may even be higher. Because I think this year was really good, action-packed. It's a lot of good moments. Had his hand on the year. So shout out to Suge for having this great year, and that's what I have at number 5.
While he was watching Toy Story, I was watching South Central with the bros. While he was trying to put a nose on Mr. Potato Head, I was trying to put a potato on.
At number 4, I have DNA. This is going to be a weird situation, right? Because if you look at his one-on-one battles, right? He has Chess, he has Ilmac, which I alluded to before. He has Sirius Jones, Rosenberg Raw, Charlie Clips in a weird one-rounder, a playful one-rounder. The rematch with Real Deal, Dirtbag Dan, Family Man Hayes, aka Saya Boy, and Briz Roster, right? So when I'm looking at the one-on-ones, I'm looking at the Chess performance, which I feel like he won. The Ilmac performance was a loss, a clear loss. But then I'm looking at Sirius Jones on Gnome 5, a good battle and a good performance where I had him winning. And I'm also looking at the Real Deal rematch and also the Briz Rothstein battle, which it was a really good battle, and I low-key edged him the battle against Briz. I think that alone, should warrant him a spot on the list. But then again, I know 2-on-2s is like a conditional thing, and you kind of have to be, you kind of have to contextualize, the subtext of the 2-on-2s. But I think that the 2-on-2s were a huge deal in that time period. It was very impactful. And the 2-on-2s that they had was John and Family Man Hayes, Hitman Holla and Averb, Marvin Quest, Chess and Steams twice, Bonnie and 40, Sharon and 100 Bullets, and then Math and Cortez. Listen, I know they're 2-on-2s. I know. And I'm not gonna put that much stock in them. But in terms of the impact side of being a part of Champion of the Year, the impact is heavy. And then when you just look at like the star-studded like roster that they were facing and how many 2-on-2s that they did, 3-round 2-on-2s at that, it's just hard for me to like just diminish the impact and and the moments that were in those 2-on-2s, like the double take against Chess and Steams, the double Dutch against John and Family Man Hayes, the Hitman and Aver battle was just really good on both sides too. It's just a lot. And then Bonnie and 40, that was one of the highest viewed battles on the Queen of the Ring platform, and probably one of the best battles on the Queen of the Ring platform. So it's just hard to not mention that. But then when you take out the 2-on-2s, again, you still have the win against Chess. Good battle against Siri Jones, but I had him winning that. You still have the Briz Rothstein battle that I had him edging in a good fashion. I just think that his hand was all over the year. NWX was flourishing this year, and I think DNA was the front runner of NWX, and was one of the biggest names of 2015.
Game started, I see that the crowd's live. Parents at home, please close your child's eyes. And I log on. That means it's time to start, son. If I press down, right, and square, that means pick up a large gun. If I press triangle and circle, that means duck by the car once. But if I press L2, it's to find out where you are, one. Yo, listen. These niggas all asked me to rap again. Man in the crowd said African. I'm reckless. Get the toast in the morning, that's breakfast. Since you African, you probably have my tooth on your necklace. Anybody else want to go? Anybody else?
At number 3, I have Chilla Jones. And quite honestly, Chilla Jones has a case of being a spot higher, but I'll tell you why I kind of kept him at 3. But Chilla Jones, first appearance on the list, if I'm not mistaken, really, really, really good year. 100 bullets, Math Hoffa, Conceited, Disaster, Prep, Pass, Danny, Tony D, and the Saga. So I'll start out with the positives. Math Hoffa, in my opinion, a borderline classic battle. I had him edging that battle against Math, but a good look for both of them. Math's return, major battle on Don't Flop, good performance. Conceited, right? I had him beating Conceited. I know a lot of people say, well, hey, Conceited predicted all of his bars. It doesn't matter to me. They were still good. I had him beating Conceited, I want to say 2nd and 3rd. And then Disaster. I had him edging Disaster. It was only a 2-round battle. I have to throw that context in there. It was a 2-round battle. I think I had him clearly taking the 2nd, and then the 1st I had him edging. Prep, dominant body bag, you know what I'm saying? Like a huge body bag, was just sensational against Prep. Pass, he got caught slipping. I had him losing the Pass, and that was around the same time he had Pass and Danny near each other, and I feel like he low-key lost both of them. But I do think the Danny battle was really good. Really good. I know a lot of people make a case for Chilla winning the 2nd and 3rd. I personally edged Danny that battle. Well, I can't even say edge. I kind of gave Danny the battle kind of confidently, clearly. But I thought Chilla was good, though, especially in the 2nd round. The Tony D battle was good, but I might have edged Tony D, if I'm not mistaken, in that battle, too. And then the Saga battle, to close out the year, dominant performance, in my opinion. I know a lot of people give Saga the first, but I feel like the last 2 were just a wash. I thought he took the last 2 clearly. But you're talking about high-profile names, really good performances, body bags, just moments on the year. The Saga, the 3rd round against Saga was a moment. I just thought that he had his hand on the year too. This is one of Chilla's best years, and I think that, you know, he sits comfortably at number 3. And maybe if he doesn't have like the loss to Pass and Danny, maybe he'd be higher, but that's why I have him at number 3.
It took me was essential. Battled Math, Con, and Diz. Now it's a rookie on the menu. This a fucking mismatch. Them even putting me against you. I'm nice with the grammar, see? That's why they booked me for the venue.
At number 2, I have Danger Zone. Danger Zone had I don't want to call it a Cinderella year, you know what I'm saying? But he had a great year, especially without like the mega looks that a person usually get in this conversation. Danger Zone, let's get the obvious out the way. Ladaze, one of the biggest body bags of all time, made him throw the towel in. Huge impact behind that huge moment, right? He starts off the year with Danger Zone, he starts off the year with Averb, had Gaddafi Green. He also had Daylight in the rematch, and I had him beating Daylight. Danny Myers was I mentioned this for Danny Myers here, but him versus Danny Myers was a great battle. on Traffic, and I edged him the battle against Danny Myers. Win over B Magic. B Magic was solid in the battle too, and then he has a win over Nestle. So you're talking about a year filled with wins. I don't think I have him with any blemishes. And then you're just talking about some of the best material all year. And then a win over Averb holds weight to me. A win over that Danny Myers holds weight. And then even if you want to say Daylight through the battle, I think that he was so good in the battle that I will still give him credit for it. And a lot of Zay Body Bag, I mean, come on. Like, it was very impactful. Great material. Some of my best bars I ever heard from Danger Zone. I just think that he sits at number 2, and the only reason why he's not at number 1 is because his opponent not only have moments, great material, but he also has the opponents to match.
I was lying how I damaged pride. Tell him stand in line, to face the music and speak with these hands of mine like a pantomime. You on his team and plan to shine, you probably stab his spine. You watch who you stand in front of, you watch who you stand behind.
At number 1, I have Tay-Rock. Tay-Rock was amazing this year. Like, I don't know what else to say. Tay-Rock was given all the killers, and he either won or came out unscathed, in my opinion. Tay-Rock starts off the year, right, with Sue Surf on No. A lot of people said this battle was underwhelming. A lot of people say that, like, Surf clearly took this battle. I don't see it that way. I thought it was a really good battle. And you can make a case for Tay-Rock taking the first and the first 2, but I know a lot of people say Surf takes the second and third, or excuse me, a lot of people say that Tay-Rock might have taken the first and third, and Surf may have taken the first 2. But I just think it's a close battle, and I honestly have Tay-Rock edging the battle, but sometimes it flips, so I can't even say like it's clear. Either way, I think it's a good look, and I think the battle actually ages better on the rewatch. So you have the battle against Surf on Gnome 5, then in between that, on Redemption, you have Briz Rothstein, where I feel like he beat Briz Rothstein the first 2, and his first round was crazy with the Summer Madness coming. Like, he started a trend with that. Great performance there. Then you have Calico, a barn burner, really, really classic battle on SM5, the best battle of the night. Calico had a classic first, he has a classic second, the third's debatable. And I low-key edge Tay-Rock in that battle too. But that's a classic battle that can go either way. I'm not mad at that. Then he closes out a year against John John, who John John was having a good year. He closes out the year with a clear win over John John. So I think that there aren't really any blemishes on the year. He gave you 4 battles this year, 1 for every season. And you're talking about Sue Surf, Calico, John John, and Briz, which Briz was on the rise too. There's not much I can say. I think that the year speaks for itself. Tay-Rock was the clear champion of the year in 2015.
Sidebar, Summer Madness coming. Calico, stop running. Conceited, how you 4'5" and still ducking. John John talking shit.
Now we're at 2016. 2016 is a really good year, a lot of good moments. And to start off at number 10, I have Iron Solomon. Iron Solomon, welcome back. I know you came back in 2015, but I feel like 2016 is when you really, really got acclimated to the pace of the culture. Iron Solomon's year, 3 battles. Like I said, you're going to do 3, make them bangers. First battle, Disaster. Classic battle. Blackout 6, one of the best battles on Blackout 6. Need I say more? Just great battle. B Magic, another great battle on Massacre. Probably one of the best battles on Massacre. That's my hot take. But another good battle when I edged him, slight edge against B Magic in that battle. Charlie Clips, okay performance. That's the one I'm just like, if he does better in the Charlie Clips battle, then maybe he's higher. But I still think Disaster, B Magic, and Charlie Clips, those 3 are a solid 3, and I think that's enough to get him at the 10th spot.
Happens when they need exposure, how they gassed him to leave his sofa to come to my house and lie down in his bag while sleeping over. Wake up! It's all a dream, but it ain't always all it seems. Like Paula Deen cooking collard greens. Your holiday is Halloween.
And number 9, I got B-Dot. Welcome to the list, B-Dot. And this is a situation where, like, you can argue that, you know, Iron should be above B-Dot because he has that one more battle, but I think that these two battles just top notch. B-Dot had Danny Myers and he had Cortez, and I thought the Danny Myers battle was really good, a top 3 battle of the year. I had him winning that battle, and then Cortez, I had him winning that battle too against a really good Cortez, a Cortez that was having an excellent year too. This was when I think B-Dot really put the culture on notice. He had some of the best material, some of the best angles, some of the best rapping I heard all year. And the only thing that's keeping him from being high is if he only has 2 battles. If he has like another one or maybe even 4 this year, we could be talking about him being even higher. We can talk about him being in the top 3. But with these 2, I think he sits at the 9 spot, not too much higher than Iron Solomon, just because he has 1. But yeah, I have B-Dot at number 9.
Ultimate warrior. Pardon if I'm boring ya. What y'all tired of hearing about how he gave them K's to Rex? But he supposed to be from the West and he paid them checks. Look, I know we talk about it religiously. I just figured he Muslim the way he kneeled to the East to pay respects.
And number 8, another individual who has 2 battles, but if you give him 1 more, maybe give him 2. If the old red battle happens in 2016, we could be talking about him being higher. I have Av. Av gave you 2 battles and two of the most impactful performances, in my opinion. Him versus Rum Nitty, battle of the year, classic battle, changed the landscape of battle rap, and then him versus Chess, one of the best known debuts of all time. I think there's no debate about any of those things. I think that the Chess performance was amazing. His first round shut down Irving Plaza, and then the battle with Rum Nitty just literally changed the landscape of the culture of the battle rap scene. So with those 2 battles, I think 8 is a good spot for him, right? And like I said, you give him 1 more battle, maybe 2, he may be in the top 5 because he already has a solid foundation with those 2. But that's what I have at number 8.
That gunplay ain't just chatter. That gunplay ain't just chatter. I will clap that fucker. Come out the cave with the tray. I feel like Batman Butler. But
At number 7, just mentioned this guy before, Mr. Bodega. I have Cortez. Cortez's year consists of Chilla Jones, Sharon. He has the 2-on-2 with Verb against Verb and Young Ill, with Math being his partner. QP, Quantum Physics, I should say. Franchise, Big K, J400 Block, Drugs, Riggs, Arsenal, D-Flames, and B-Dot. Action-packed year and a lot of consistency. Him and B-Dot is a good battle. I think the only negative of this year, I would say, is the Chilla Jones battle was slightly underwhelming on both sides. I thought he took the first clear, but I didn't feel like he kept that same tempo in the second and third. And I will also say the Arsenal battle. I thought he lost clearly to Arsenal. That wasn't a good look. But I think the overall work that he gave us this year was really good, really top notch. Had a lot of moments this year. This was where Cortez really took off in the next 1 or 2 years. But yeah, I have Cortez at number 7.
Don't you get it? Virginia Tech campus shooting, that's a killer's intuition. Nigga, listen. I taught you everything you know, King. I gave you tips, you obeyed. They put Duke on court. Makes sense. I used to coach K. Okay. I'm back.
At number 6, another guy that only had 2 battles, but incredible performances in those 2 battles. I have T-Top. T-Top. This is where he became top tier, in my opinion. He had more than 2, but like he had 2 3-round performances that I thought were really noteworthy. He had Biz Barker, excuse me. He had Math Hoffa, he had Sue Surf, and then he had the 2-on-2s against Chilla and B Magic and Arsenal and Suge. The Math Hoffa body bag just holds a lot of weight, just because it was such a dramatic body bag. It was in a dominant fashion. And that really got eyes on him. And then he closes out the year against Sue Surf, and I personally edged him the battle against Sue Surf. In a good battle, one of the better battles on the card. So I think those 2, and then you mix in just the moments that we're able to make in those 2-on-2s with the GoldenEye bar against Chilla and B Magic. I just think having a win over Math in that fashion and arguably beating Sue Surf, you sit at a really good spot on the year. So that's who I have at number 6.
And Tay-Rock, bitch, you stole that line. I told you that when we was sparring on the phone that time. What you gonna say? What you gonna say? I rap about
cooking dope, that's fine. I fuck around and leave rock on the stove next time. Speaking of rock.
At number 5, welcome to the top 5. I got Danny Myers at number 5. This was one of the more trimmed down years of Danny's career. He had Charlie Clips, Swave Seva, B-Dot, Jonai, and YK. Here, I have him beating Charlie Clips. I know he has a judge loss to Swave Seva, but I have Swave Seva. Really good battle with B-Dot. Another really good battle against Jonai, and I edged Jonai in that battle. And another really good battle against YK. Another situation where you give him one more big name, we could be talking about him being higher. But I really love the battle with B-Dot. The setup that he had with the sun getting changed, never bring us the change that you promised. The opening to the YK battle was great. I even liked his third round against Swave Seva, you know, so I think he had a lot of good moments, a lot of great material, similar to last year. I just think that he trimmed it down, tried to centralize all that stuff into like the high profile matchups, and I think it worked for him. Give him one more big battle, and then we maybe be talking about him being in the top 3. But that's who I have in the top 5 or at 5.
Residents just got a tough to it. Chicago schools are losing funding. Families are being uprooted. What's my take on it? Bitch, you still alive? I don't think they doing enough shooting. I think like the motherfucker.
At number 4, I thought this guy was killing it this year. I have Briz Rothstein at number 4. Briz was sensational this year. Let me talk about his year really quick. He had Arsenal, Shotgun Suge, Pass. He also had Biz Barker as well. And then the same thing I mentioned with T-Top, the 2-1-2s against Chilla and Magic, and Arsenal and Suge. Arsenal battle, dominant win, known debut. Nothing else to say about that. Shotgun Suge, a competitive battle. I remember thinking that Suge took the battle clearly, but it's a competitive battle. And I think there's a good look for both of them. Pass, dominant win. You know what I'm saying? That's what really put him on the radar of a lot of people. And I just think that with those 3, he's in a good spot. He gave you a lot of moments, right, against Arsenal, against Pass, even against Shotgun Suge, the Terminator 2. And he was consistent. I just thought that his performance was ramped up a bit in those battles too. I think that he had a really good year this year with those performances. So that's what I have at number 4. And that's probably going to be the highest Briz ever lands on the list, if I'm not mistaken. And it's bittersweet. And hopefully he comes back and makes a case for himself in a couple other years. But for now, that is where he sits. Now we're going into the top 3.
Stick a syringe in his neck and bring the needle around. When I trips, heads crack, they think we playing CeeLo now.
At number 3, I have JC. JC's year was phenomenal. Practically undefeated. I know there's a lot of people that say he may have lost the Pass. I don't think it's really clear in my opinion, but yeah, for the most part, this year was filled with great material. And I know another critique may be, well, he doesn't have that many top tier names on his resume, but even still, what he was able to do with what he had on his resume is what makes it special. I thought his material was some of the best material all year, maybe outside of one person. But his year consisted of Jay Murda, King Beans, Mr. Mills, Radio B, Pass, Daylight, QP, and Craig Lamar. The Craig Lamar battle being one of the more high-profile battles of the year for the RBE platform. Really good battle. I had him winning that. QP, I had him beating Quantum Physics in that cage on Black Ice. He just showcased really, really great rapping this year. And I think that, he sits at number 3 just off of pure work ethic, off of his material, and just off of being like one of the best guys off the major machine at the time. So that's what I have at number 3.
Not worth it. Niggas will still criticize the form if the shot perfect. It's just different levels in what we do. Ain't no explaining how. You train hard for this one, didn't you? Bitch, I'm training now.
At number 2, I have Tay-Rock. Again, if we're gonna do 3, make them bangers. He had C3, dominant win on his Queen of the Ring debut. He had Arsenal's league clear win in my opinion in that battle. And I thought Arsenal was really good. I thought the first 2 rounds of Arsenal's performance was really good, but I still had Tay-Rock taking that. Rum Nitty is the only thing that's like that hurts. Like, I think that if the Rum Nitty battle is you know, better, that would help him. But it was just underwhelming on both sides. So it is what it is on that regard. But the first 2-on-2 against NWX, that helps on the impact side. It doesn't really help on the strength of schedule or any of the other things, right? Because the material split and all that. But in terms of impact, that was one of the most talked about things of the year was gun titles, the formation of gun titles. So I think that the impact is still there. He's still trending in the right direction. And then obviously you see that he, you know, you see the building blocks towards that like God tier match that he would go on to get in 2017 against Hollow. And I think that he just stays afloat with the work that he was given. So I think that he sits at number 2 in a really good fashion.
He just sit here and pretend, hate on Smack, because against Hitman he didn't win. Who in here played that game for the iPhone called Arsenal's Revenge? You did? Did you know that the boss you had to beat was Hitman at the end?
And then at number 1, I think it's kind of clear. I have Rum Nitty. Rum Nitty's 2016 was special. You're talking about him versus Danger Zone, talking about him versus Av, talking about him versus Clips, Ill Will, and Tay-Rock. And Danger Zone is a close battle, but I have him edging that battle. And I also have him edging the Tay-Rock battle as well too. But the other battles are just good looks for him. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, I think the Av battle, I had him edging that one. Classic battle. Charlie Clips, dominant win. And then the Ill Will battle, I know a lot of people edge him the battle in that, and I'm one of those people that edge Ill Will the battle. Or I know a lot of people edge Ill Will the battle against Rum Nitty, but which I am one of the people that do too. But there's a lot of people that have Nitty winning too. There's a lot of people that have Nitty winning. So I think that's a textbook debatable battle. And then you're talking about him versus Tay-Rock, and although it was underwhelming, I still edge him the win in that battle, and the win against Tay-Rock on and on holds a lot of weight. And I just think that he had the best material this year. He was the most talked about up-and-comer this year. And he kicked up a lot of dust, and I just have to give him credit for it. So that's who I have for the champion of the year of 2016.
I was up in the hotel. Long rounds for cousin. Big rounds I'm stuffing. They stay ill in the lobby. I grabbed the nose running. I'm coming down with some.
And that is the conclusion of the champions of 2010 through 2016. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I know I kind of sped through these top 10s a lot quicker than I did the top 5s. I wanted to spend a little bit more time talking about each person's year, but I know I can be long-winded and I know I can go on tangents, so I tried to really trim it down and get to why they're ranked where they're ranked. But enjoy doing this, enjoy going down memory lane. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to just look at the history that I provide on this channel. And we got a lot of big projects coming up soon, and I hope you guys are in tune for it. Stay tuned for it. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon.